was homecoming. A big crowd gathered at Nunley Stadium, but it was Shelbyville leaving with the win, 41-26 over the Pioneers. Hi, everybody. I'm Jay Walker with 92.1 The Ticket. Welcome to Turner Time, featuring Warren County Pioneer head football coach Matt Turner and the Warren County Sports Authority, Jeff Simmons, who is just back from Neyland Stadium. We understand he's missing one golf ball from his stash. We'll talk about that later.
I figured it was his mustard bottle.
Yeah, both. Yeah, no, that's crazy. You know, it's the fans this weekend. Nunley Neyland, they're interesting times. But what I saw at Nunley Stadium Friday night was a team that played 4 quarters, showed some fight down the stretch. Coach, I know, didn't work out like you wanted it to, big region game, but had to be appreciative of the effort that you saw your team put forth to keep that game pretty competitive for the first half and never quit down the stretch.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's what we challenged them all week long, you know, for the effort and the you know, just the fight, you know, and of course we're still just overcoming our depth and our, you know, and the silver line is, man, we're getting a lot of great playing time for some young kids that's going to be a part of that squad 54. So, you know, very unfortunate. I hate it, you know, for our seniors and those guys that are playing and just the obstacles and the hurdles that we're having to keep on going over and over. But yeah, you know, it was a good night. I thought defensively played well, offensively played well. You know, just had a couple plays there, a couple fumbles, a couple miscues there. You know, that changed the course of that ball game. Obviously changed it, not in our favor, but yeah. So let's get in on it.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from Friday night.
Yeah.
You know, Coach, we're wanting to focus a little bit. You know, we talk about the offense a lot, and, of course, you had your biggest output. But, you know, there were some pretty good, like you said, defensive highlights in this game. Did some things.
Yeah, you know, last week in practice, we literally broke it down a little bit, did a lot more position coaching, position meeting in the classroom on film, actually making sure a run fits and different things was good. You know, and I feel like the kids can play faster and play more aggressive when they are in tune and very know their assignments and know what their tendencies are and what their keys are going to do and different things of that nature, you know, and you know, we had Andrew Miller stepped up big this week. First varsity game that he's ever played, and man, he was downhill. Now, was he in the wrong place sometimes? But he was playing downhill, and that's something as a coach. I mean, if you're a linebacker, that's something you got to bring to the table, you know. But of course, Braylon and Nate always play big. Donathan Lewis came in big there, you know, and we challenged the D-line quite a bit this week, and the D-line played well. They didn't just smash us right up the gut like they have in the past or the past few weeks, you know, you know, and we was in position to make tackles, and that's where we've got to get in this weight room this offseason and get stronger.
Yeah, you know, I think I've heard you say this before. I've heard a lot of coaches say this before. I mean, especially for defensive football, is that if you're going to make a mistake, make it going 100
full
miles
speed.
per hour.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you kind of saw from our team at times this, you know. But you know, you had situations. I think a big goal line stand there at the end of the first half that ended up, you know, pushing them back. Now, granted, they made a heck of a catch in the end zone that got waved off, but had guys in position every single a lot of times. And I think that's the big thing that I took from it is had guys in position to make plays, like you said. The strength conditioning will have to improve to make sure those finish in the third and fourth quarters.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I think we played first down, second down well, and even played third down okay, but we just couldn't get off the field because I think offensively we only had 40 plays, and Shelbyville just felt like, man, we just could not get off the field. When we had them all corralled and ready to go, they would do something to extend the chains, and, man, it just sucks the wind out of you.
But the 50-yard pass was on a 4th and 5. Backbreaker, and they showed early in the game that they were going to try on 4th down a lot.
Oh yeah, I know they probably took I figured they probably had about 7 or 8 thoughts in their mind that they was going to just take a shot, you know. And we was giving them because we did kind of follow Tullahoma's game plan. We knew that they had some guys on the edge that could get and go, and we didn't necessarily know if we could run with them. So we was giving them the hitch. We was giving them the things up underneath. And And they just say, but I felt like Coach Bond and Coach Ramsey and Coach Malik, they had a great defensive game plan, and they played well enough to win that ball game.
Coach, I know you played with intensity, because I'm the only one here that remembers that. And you coach with intensity, and I know you've been waiting for this team to take on your personality. Do you feel like they're gradually getting there?
Gradually. I really do gradually, and a lot of it is just because, these guys have not had the opportunity to put, they obviously they've rode the coattails of last year's class. We know that. You graduate 18 kids and 18 dudes, and I don't know how many. We got 6 or 7 playing at the collegiate level, But yeah, they're trying to start taking this identity, and I've tried to tell them, man, that's the funnest way to play football is with passion, And I told them before the game, play with your gut and play with your heart, and and make that decision when you put your hand in the dirt, or you toe the line, whatever it is, and shift gears and don't look back, And if you make a mistake, so be it, because we can correct the mental mistakes. The one thing that challenged this group forever is just that effort, and I think a lot of them, a personality trait of mine that I think they have adopted is I'm a people pleaser. I like trying to make sure I'm doing everything right and this, that, and other. Don't want to make mistakes, and I feel like sometimes that holds them back from just pinning them ears back and going, And they're so worried they're going to let me down because they did the wrong assignment, or they did, or they're going to let the Coach Bond down and do this or do that, And I said, man, just let that out the window and let's play ball.
Yep.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers from the other night. Nate Elrod passing 5 for 7 for 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Rushing, Braylon Grayson, 8 carries, 54 yards. Jathan, 6 carries for 41. Eli Cantrell, 5 carries for 11. Nate Elrod, 16 carries for 9 yards and a touchdown. And Brian Hoagland, the punter, 1 carry for 18 yards.
Big 18-yard carry there, buddy.
It was kind of a game changer.
It was.
And the special teams for the most part, I thought played pretty well. I mean, it was an abnormal game for your special teams. It wasn't like, hey, we came out, we had 40, 50-yard punts, or we did something like you had a kick return for a touchdown. You had to face 2-point conversions and stuff like that. We'll get back to special teams here in a second. But it's. Hoagland having that run, the offense kind of seemed like it found some things, and of course, passing-wise, made some plays through the air as well at the end.
Receiving, Alex Van Buren, you found you another receiver. 2 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. Jason Pleasant, 1 catch for 29 yards. Braylon Grayson, 1 catch for 3 yards and a touchdown.
That came on 4th down. That was a big play.
Big
play. Braylon climbing the receiving touchdown career charts, it seems like now.
Yep.
Defensively, Braylon with 10 tackles, Nate Elrod 7 tackles, Jonathan Lewis 6 tackles, and an interception.
Had a big play. I mean, like I said, those are your guys. You kind of know that those 3 guys are always. They're your top 3 tacklers. Been your top 3 tacklers all season, and like you said, you had some guys really step up there. I was impressed too. Andrew Miller made some big time plays there.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a guy that you're going to start seeing his name up on these highlights and these stats. And a young kid too. And Keldrick Cox out there, I feel very confident with him out there at the corner. And Rutledge, a first year player, is getting better each game. There's a lot of guys doing their thing, and our linebackers, that's what we should be seeing, because Nate technically is an outside linebacker, It'd be nice to see a few sacks on there, different things from our D-line, but our D-line was doing a better job of controlling the line of scrimmage and keeping that offensive line off of our Grayson and off Nate and even Andrew Miller.
Yeah, and of course we got special teams up there, 3 kick returns, 134 yards and a touchdown. I think we actually have a special teams highlight package out there too. The kick return, we were talking about it before the game.
Man.
I started trying to wrap my brain thinking, when was the last time we had a kick return touchdown? And I'm thinking it might have been 2010, my very first game I ever covered at DeKalb County, Franklin Morton. Run one back for 90 yards, but we're about to see Donathan go to the house right here. You've been predicting this, Coach.
Yeah. So that was right there on the what was that?
I called it 92. I think going back to the Joe's video and Jay's call of 91 yards, I think is actually probably correct.
That kid's gonna be fun to watch. He's excited.
He's having some fun.
Yeah, having a little fun. Obviously that was borderline. Refs was putting the flag back in his pocket, I think. But a kid like that's gonna be excited. And I think he's buying in, and I'm excited to get him to continue working with Coach Preston Smith on his speed and his footwork, and we're going to get him in the weight room and keep pumping that gunpowder and lead in him, and man, he's going to be a dog. And then that Brian Hogan, the punter that we saw the first highlight there, took it and extended it down, got us there. Those are those two point
conversions. Yeah. It's defense, but it's special. You're trying to keep someone off the ball and keep them off the board.
Onside kick got it. That was big. There's moments like that shows this young team that, man, hey, we can get this, we can do this. And I think Grayson, he had a blocked PAT.
Yeah.
He got back there and scooped it up. I ain't seen that highlight, but
he had that was one as well.
It was one in the dirt.
I think it pretty much made them go for two the rest of the game after they couldn't. They couldn't execute it.
And this right here in Brian, boy, he takes a shot here at the end too. But that kid's a sophomore, so and the silver lining of all this COVID mess and different things right there, this is a kid that we didn't even realize could punt up until we had our another punter actually have to miss practice because of the illness. So
I'm glad you told me that Brian was a sophomore. I've been queuing him up for freshman of the year for a year or so. Yeah, but I should have known. I should have known that he's a 4-sport athlete. I think he was a cross country runner as well.
I reckon he's a big baseball player.
I've
heard he can throw. I heard he's just a dude. And he's another guy. He's about the same size as Lewis, and we're just going to get him going in the weight room and get him stronger.
Yeah, he can throw. So we're going to have some fake punts soon.
Yep.
Time now for the Security Federal Player of the Week. Jeff?
Coach, we were already talking about him. Get up there again. Donathan Lewis.
He's a man.
Sophomore, comes up with a big interception, the kickoff return touchdown. Really
yard line.
Kind of it changed the complexion of the game, but he's also a guy that he gets things done on defense. He makes plays, and I think it was funny you said in the post game, probably your most vicious guy coming up.
He is, man.
It's just sometimes you're going to get him in the weight room because what was the analogy of Nat and the windshield?
He'll go. He is not scared of anything.
No.
That is a kid that does play with my personality because I tell him don't be scared of nothing, don't eat you. And some of them linemen sometimes come up there, or he'll have to go through a lineman, and it's like watching on that head of windshield, But he's electric. He's fun to watch, and he's coming his own player. And and I think we've got 2 more years to get his household name right there, man. And he's our Falcon, which is our free safety position, and of course we call it the Falcon because he's a bird of prey, and so he's just always on the go doing things like that right there, man.
Yep.
And he's a kid that he's played through some injuries. He played through an injury all night that night right there. Kind of been hampering a ankle injury from the DeKalb game, but yeah, I'm excited about this. And of course now next year his little brother's coming up.
DJ.
There's a whole herd of them Lewis boys. Wish I'd had all of them the whole time, but the youngin's coming up next year as a freshman, so I'm anxious to see that competitive nature of them two.
Yeah.
But yeah, Donathan Lewis, man, he is a dog.
I was excited when I saw him in the spring game.
Yeah, and I thought about that the other day, that how a kid like that's going to make a difference, trying to recruit and get these kids out there. That right there just goes to prove that I need these parents to give these kids a chance and get them out there on the football field. Don't think they're too small or too something, because that kid right there, he's like I said, he's a popcorn fart, man, but he's bad.
So congratulations to Donathan Lewis, Security Federal Player of the Week. Time now with a tough question for Turner.
Coach,
there's probably all kinds, but let's hear this one.
I'm going to just relay a question that I continuously heard on Friday night that was coming from the stands.
Okay.
It was a commentary question, which was, do we actually have coaches teaching tackling? Because there was somebody up in the stands the other night that basically asked over and over for you to teach these kids how to tackle.
Yeah, yes, sir. We do. And we actually teach tackling every day. Defensively, there's a few things that we do every day. Alignment and assignment's the very first thing, and then the very second thing after alignment and assignment on defensive drills is our tackling circuit.
I've seen it.
Now, granted, and people don't realize we have changed the mindset, and I guarantee the age. Spectrum of where this comment's coming from is probably more of mine, where the tackling was totally different when I was in school. And probably, Jay, you've seen it evolve. We used to, we'd throw our head across the body and put the helmet on the ball and do all of this stuff. Well, I like following science and things, head concussions and protocols and different things like that, and found new ways to tackle, and they call it the hawk tackling. Old school guys like myself, when I first saw it, I was like, man, that's shoulder tackling. That's this, that, and other. But it's all about keeping inside leverage where we used to keep outside leverage. But at the same time, we've got to be strong. You've got to be strong to do that, You kind of slip the head to the side a little bit to keep those concussions from happening. And as of right now, knock on wood, we've been pretty concussion out of not many concussions since I've took this job, and we've converted over to the hawk tackling. And this is, they say hawk tackling because Pete Carroll from the Seattle Seahawks has introduced this. Yeah. And somebody at that level, and it can still be vicious and violent. You just research it, look it up, but that's what we're doing, and that's what we're trying to implement in the youth football when we get it rolling. Just because, I was old school, and if I wasn't coaching around, I'd be like, man, why we shoulder tackling that sissy stuff, and this, that, and other. But
well, the thing that I would like to assure this random fan, I have no idea who it was, but it just was. I wanted to switch it up on you on tough question for Turner, but I want to assure this fan the same defense that was shutting out teams last year,
same coach
that was tackling, has the same defensive coordinator, the same defensive back coach, the same linebacker coach. I think we do have a new defensive line coach, but the old D-line coach is still on staff.
Yep.
Same head coach.
And still doing, yeah. And, we're doing that circuit, and that. But, it's just a young – and it's so hard, though, to duplicate live tackling.
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday. And people don't realize that we missed a whole spring practice when these guys should have been getting that – where we can actually do live to the ground type tackling. Yeah. So now, we do a lot of what you call thud, but we can't afford to have any more injuries through practice, different things of that nature. But yeah, man, we can, and hell, our practices are open. They can come down there and check it out. But usually we start practice with defense every day. Mm-hmm. So
I've seen it. I've seen it over and over again.
I know Jay's been there, but we tackling, blocking. The fundamentals of football, that's what we do every day. But that's where the weight room. That's why sometimes our tackles may look like an arm tackle because the kid is maybe a step behind on his leverage. It's supposed to same shoulder, same foot. Yeah. And it just takes some strength, man. We've been playing some big backs. Yeah. That back the other night was big. Yeah. DeKalb County's back was big. Siegel's back was big. And you got Donovan Lewis weighs 135 pounds. He's probably not going to go up and throw his shoulder. I've told him to wrap ankles. Let's go low because I can't afford to him. Tonnage always wins.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the question. Please don't shout them out to us anymore.
No, that's fun. Hey,
not to me. They can yell at you.
I don't really. I'm numb to all that stuff, but I do have to listen to Autumn. Poor thing. Because she understands how hard we're working, and that's a frustrating part. We're not intentionally out there trying to make bad calls or have delay of games or anything like that. We're all just trying to be successful, and so I always ask everybody: are you part of the problem or are you part of the solution? So,
Coach, going to a place we haven't been to in a long time, Franklin County. How much do we know about the Rebels?
I feel like they're kind of a lot we are. They brought in a local guy kind of like me, Coach Cunningham, and their program has been in and out, and it's funny that football's pretty rich down there in Winchester. It always has been. I think the rivalry here, I saw some notes where you was talking about we used to always play Winchester. And, we should play games like that. That's a county school. We pair it with them very well, But, so I think he's at the same spot we are, trying to rebuild a program. He's got a couple brothers down there that are some dudes. And other than that, they're just they're on a 3 or 4 game winning streak right now.
4-game winning streak.
4-game winning streak,
Make it 4 and 4.
Those kids are learning how to win. And I know earlier in the year they had a little COVID situation. I don't know if it was on Chat Central or both or at the same time, but but yeah, and I know they secured a playoff spot berth for them first time in like 11 years. Friday night, I think they beat Spring Hill in a big old monsoon mud bowl. So I took that film, just throwed that out because it was literally looked like they was playing on a body of water. But they've played Grundy County, beat them. Played Squatch County, beat them. Which we've seen how good Squatch County can be.
Yes. So they opened the season against Coffee County, which is our only common opponent of the year. They lost by a touchdown, but they're a different team in week 9 than they were in week 1. I think that'd be safe to say.
Yeah, I would say so. And then and that's where people don't understand that first game. It's so hard to judge the first game of the season because you got so many kids, either new players, a new system, and there's just so much craziness going on, But that's why, like with Mount Juliet, I'd love to kept COVID out of our locker room and seen what this season have been if we'd got to open the season up with DeKalb County.
Or just played it how it was actually scheduled. Would have been really nice.
Yep.
But we're going to make the trip to Franklin County. Look back, like you said, this is like much of the region games that we play are in the region games. This actually isn't a region game, which is kind of confusing. I think Jay and I were talking I heard him talking on the broadcast. Franklin County, a new district rival in every sport. Not a region football opponent, though.
Yeah.
So, we're going to play them in soccer. We're going to play them in basketball, baseball, softball, all the other sports. They're our district opponent, but in football, they're a non-region opponent. But it'll be the first time that we're playing them since 2010.
I think they're kind of like Shelbyville. Shelbyville just got bumped up 5A. I think Franklin County just got bumped up to – either got put back into 5A maybe. I don't remember. I don't know. But they're right there on that cusp of 1,400 students. But, so
So I know Coach Wilmore and his Lady Pioneers are going to be very much rooting for you to take down Franklin County because I know they've been a thorn in their sides this season.
I know. It's so unfortunate, because they've just had Coach Wilmore's number. I don't know. I think they're beating up beating our girl up pretty bad.
Yeah, Katie. Katie is pretty physical games for her. Yeah,
so, that's what I've seen.
Hopefully, just a quick shout out to the Lady Pioneers. By the time that when you're watching this, that'll be about the time that they're taking on McMinn County, trying to keep their season alive. But this rivalry started in 1971.
Yep.
Played it for about 20 straight years, and then it's been lapsed. I think it actually missed you by like a year on each side. I think they played in like maybe 92, stopped, and then started back in 97.
I didn't play them in high school, and then I know we played them while I was coaching off and on there a couple times. Like you said, Franklin County's got the lead. We got to do some doubling down on this, man. They 19-13 on us.
19-13, in the 32 matchups.
And I think Coach Britton is down there, Steve Britton, a Warren County native. I think his boy's coaching baseball somewhere down in there. He was at Tullahoma for all those years, but I think he's down there on the staff, so it'd be good to see him. I got some good, strong ties with Coach Britton. He's a good man. What else you got here? Franklin County 4-4 loss. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, all the research.
Still looking for a win here, Jay. I see. So what we're going to do to break this slide? We're just going to keep doing what we do, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like these kids like Miller, and he's going to get game number 2 behind his back. Another shout out to Darius Rippey. This kid that came in, we had another illness on the offensive line this week, and Darius Rippey called him up from the JV. And this young man played well. He's actually going to get our offensive game player of the game inside the locker room of coaches. He's another kid that, man, feed him some weights and gunpowder this off season, and a very smart kid was there. So I'm excited to see these young guys get better.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about every week, that week 1, and you never know what you're going to have. Like it feels like for the last 3 weeks we've been playing week 1s because it's week 1 for so many kids that are having to start and play because it really is their first. I mean, there's every week for the last 3 weeks you've probably started at least three kids that were playing their first varsity football, and it really started from the very first game of the season.
And then the bad thing is there's a trickle down to that because we've had certain guys that was starting to get comfortable at a spot, but we had to move them over, so they was technically starting a new position for the first time in a game, you know, at a different position. And in the high school, you're young. That's big, you know. So that's where, like, you know, that's where I read that article that you wrote about, you know, getting the kids out of the stands and different things like that. And I thought it was a good article just for the very aspect of that we need our numbers out there so we can have better practices. We can give each other better looks, and we can get the kids that are on the sideline right now more prepared to step in and rotate and go. And like this week, we're going to try to find a way to get Nate, Elrod, and Grayson, get them off the field for a series just to allow them, man, because, I mean, if you'll see, and I don't know if that's a thing, you know, last couple of weeks we've been in the ballgame at halftime, and it seems like after half, man, we just – you know, so but anyway, we're just going to keep hammering, man, try to finish this season out strong, try to get us a win here. You know, it looks like as of right now we got another opportunity to do something big against Lebanon, the last region opponent. Maybe we can come out with a win in a couple weeks there, but if not, you know, I feel like we got that. We're going to have somebody from the borough that's going to be a big dog at first round if nothing changes, and I'm excited about it. You know, I'm excited what the future holds. So.
Yeah. So it's Warren County at Franklin County this Friday night. Hope to see everybody there.
Yeah, load the bus. Good weather.
We'll have the game on 92.1 The Ticket. And, gentlemen, enjoyed it?
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Glad to be back.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you made it out of Las Vegas all right.
Yeah, for Coach Matt Turner, Warren County Sports Authority, Jeff Simmons, I'm Jay Walker. We'll see you next time on Turner Time.
Go Pioneers.